Last week on Dink, Dink had been ejected from his home at the mental hospital for running out of money. And so he had taken a job as a security guard and accidentally impersonated a police officer, gotten entangled with some gangster clowns, and of course, got trapped in a car with 4 tires full of helium, which carried him, of course, to heaven and then space. Space was kind of boring. I don't know what all the fuss is about. Orbiting is kind of fun, I guess. Like a really slow amusement park ride. I orbited the planet a couple of times before I got hungry and had to eat one of those apes that NASA sent up there. I guess he just never came back down. Luckily, one of those clowns had left some barbecue sauce in the glove compartment. After I'd eaten the ape, I started to get cold. I guess that's space for you. The little chimp-sized spacesuit didn't fit me, but I was able to get the helmet on. I couldn't get it off, though, and it made it hard to see where I was going. I guess it didn't make much of a difference. No matter how much I jerked the steering wheel around, it didn't really seem to do anything. I was having a pretty decent time in space, eating apes and looking at meteors or whatever, when I bumped into Sputnik. What the heck? I didn't even know that thing was still up there. Aren't there any janitors in space? The pokey parts of Sputnik, technical term, poked the tires on my little clown car, and I started falling out of space immediately. I started screaming and throwing ape bones around in a wild panic. I must have fallen for an hour, but I got sick of screaming after about 5 minutes. After that, I just yawned every once in a while. I passed by another skydiver, and he just stared at me with a look of disbelief. Finally, I landed in the parking lot of a toy factory. I was pretty relieved. I was getting close to the end of my shift, and I didn't want my boss to catch me away from my post. When I got out of the car, I struggled to see what I had landed on, but it was pretty difficult with the chimp's helmet on. I finally wrenched the thing off and saw a pair of big red shoes sticking out from under the car. I'd crushed Gabba, the clown. I was pretty sure I was going to get in trouble for this when the police showed up, so I hid in the bushes. It brought back some good memories, so I decided to stay in there for a while. That's when 2 guys in black suits grabbed me, shoved me in a van, and drove me to the FBI interrogation room. "I don't buy it, Dink," said Agent Brass. "You expect me to believe that an escaped mental patient in a Halloween costume caught numbers 1 and 2 on the FBI's most wanted list?" I shrugged. "I never said I escaped." "Look, you don't have to tell us how you did it," he said. "We knew you were unorthodox as soon as we saw that you ran these guys over with their own car." I took another sip of truth serum to steady my nerves. "But as of this moment," he said, "you no longer work for the local police." "I'm way ahead of you," I said. "From now on," he said, "you take your orders from the Bureau." I didn't know who this Bureau guy was, but he sounded like a real jerk. "I don't know," I said. The door opened, and a sexy pair of legs entered. On top of the legs were all sorts of body parts. Torso, arms, you name it. All together, the parts made up a woman. Her hair was like gold-colored hair. Her eyes were a beautiful shade of white. Her lips were like, well, you know what lips look like. Yes, she had it all. "I'm Special Agent Melissa McCarthy," she said. "I'll be working with you and Agent Brax." "I look forward to being under you," I said, winking. So, I was working for the FBI. They said they were going to pay me, but who knows? A ramshackle organization like that, the checks would probably bounce. Donovan Brass turned on a slide projector. Oh, great. I yawned loudly. He shot me an irritated look, which I pretended not to notice. He clicked a button, and an image of an old man in a cardboard, pyramid-shaped hat appeared on the wall. "This is Charles Mammon," he said. "He's a former flower child who made a fortune in the stock market. About 20 years ago, a meteor landed on his property in Nevada. That's when he started construction on this." Clicked another button, and the image was replaced with a picture of a giant glass pyramid. "He built a casino?" I said, licking my lips. "I love cheap buffets. I could eat about 100 shrimp cocktails." "No," he said. "He started a cult. The High Church of Vizon, he calls it. He preaches that the human governments are irredeemably corrupt, and that the only solution is to put aliens in charge. He thinks he's a messiah, but he mostly just cons suckers out of their money." I shook my head in disbelief. This guy was so cool. "We're going to become members," said Melissa, smiling. I smiled back at her. I've always wanted to join a cult. I wondered if I should bring my own poison Kool-Aid, or if they'd provide it. "Once we've infiltrated the church, our job is to gather information and spread dissent among the members. When we get enough dirt on these sickos, we shut them down." "I don't know," I said. "This sounds pretty complicated. It's dangerous to try to do too many things at once. That's how my uncle died, making toast in the bath." "Shouldn't be too hard," said Donovan, smiling, "with this hotshot on our side." I nodded and smiled like he just said something very funny. I always do that when I don't know what someone's talking about. We left at dawn. I didn't even have time to pack anything but a suitcase full of "I Know Stupid" t-shirts and a few bottles of truth serum. It was a long drive to the Nevada desert, and I certainly didn't help. I had to stop for coffee at every rest stop, and then stop every 5 minutes to piss down the front of my pants on the roadside. Melissa and Donovan didn't seem too happy about it, but it was their fault. They were the ones who told me that I wouldn't have to pay for coffee. This was getting tiring. During one brief moment of weakness, I thought about just giving up and going home. No way, I thought bravely. Those teenagers might still be hanging around outside my house. I decided to press on. After what seemed like hours, we finally saw the glinting tip of the glass pyramid rising in the distance.